Hello everyone, Kaoz here and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. I know some of you watching may be a few diary tasks short of that coveted achievement diary cape. Whether it be a level, an item, or a boss grind that you're missing, there's at least one diary task that just haunts our dreams. And being the proud owner of the super useful cape, I thought I'd make a video going over the worst diary tasks per region and to tell you how to get them over a lot quicker. Scapers, if this video is useful, remember to subscribe with notifications on, drop a fat like for the YouTube overlords, and join our Discord server with a link in the description to play with me and our community, and work on these tasks together. The only rule I have for this video is that each of the tasks you're about to watch are unique in terms of requirements, as to not to make most of them related to a single skill. Although I personally love runecrafting, I know that it may not be everyone's cup of tea, so I will limit the list to at least one runecrafting requirement, and the same for other tedious skills such as mining and agility, just to mention a few. Other than that, I'll tell you what that tier of the diary unlocks and how important it is, and I will order the list from least to most excruciating in my personal opinion. Remember, you can chime in with a today's comment giveaway towards the end of the video to tell us what you think. That being said, let's begin. We are going to start with something light, with the Elite Varrock Diary. And this is where I should also mention that this list is mostly for unrestricted accounts, since that's what I've been playing for the past 8 years. Because the quote-unquote hardest diary task of this area is level 90 Herblore to make a super combat potion in Varrock West Bank. As an iron account, this will definitely be one of the top 5 or even 3, but the only limiting factor for an unrestricted account will be money. Herblore is not super expensive nowadays, and we also have a few ways to train this skill with either a little bit of profit or breaking even. But even then, level 90 can take quite a while, despite the actual task taking literally just a few seconds. Two ways to make this not as bad is to check out the wiki for potion prices and seeing which ones have positive GP per XP on the table, or cost as little as GP as possible so your bank doesn't take a big hit. The second is that if you have completed the Recipe for Disaster, or at least the Evil Dave subquest, spicy stews made with brown spice will have a chance to give you a plus 5 Herblore boost, which means that you'll only need level 85. If you don't like relying on RNG, a botanical pie will guarantee a plus 4 level boost, but if you're really desperate for that plus 5, spicy stews is the way to go. As most of you know, one of the best perks of the Varrock Diary is being able to buy battle staves from South Shop, and as an unrestricted account you can make a little over 100 KGP literally in less than 1 minute every single day. As an iron though, it will be a decent source of crafting experience and items to high alch for that cash stack to be used somewhere else. The first one for PVMing goes to the Elite Fremennik Diary, which has you killing all 4 God Wars dungeon bosses once, or at least dealing the highest amount of damage for kill credit if you're an unrestricted account, or a group iron account running with your group. Depending on the progression of your account, this one can be a little scary, but not terrible. I guess we get into a, let's call it a sub-list of ranking each God Wars dungeon boss, and which one I think may give you the most amount of trouble if you're just getting into PVM. The easiest one is definitely going to be Ziliana, since you can range her without taking much damage, and with run energy changes, you won't need more than 1 or 2 sips of stamina potion. The second one is Krill Tusaroth, and for this one I heavily recommend a Scorching Bow and a Light Bearer to make the fight incredibly easy. If you don't have one though, bring an Arc Light for tons of damage. Up next we have Kriara, and with the Chinchampa method you'll be able to get him pretty quickly without expensive weapons like a Bofa or a Tunic Shadow. As a late game account cleaning up some of the Elite Diary tasks, I feel like Ardougne could give you the most amount of trouble, but that's not to say this fight is difficult at all. You can do it without taking damage with the Bofa Door method, and if you don't have one, the Walk Under technique will be your best friend. In my opinion, the best reward this tier has to offer is noting all of your Dagannoth bones when you're battling the Dagannoth Kings, and I would heavily suggest not to camp them for Slayer task or the pet without this diary. If you want to learn how to kill each God Wars dungeon boss without much trouble, you can check out all the dedicated guides on my channel. We now go to Ardougne, where the Elite Diary has a chunky task for us, and that is completing a lap of the rooftop course, which requires 90 agility. This is the part where I should explain that some of these requirements may be slow and boring, and not really difficult like some of the ones coming up. Because as you all know, leveling agility is an absolute snooze fest. So pretty simple solution. The way to speed this up is to get yourself a Summer Pie, which will boost your agility level by 5, meaning you can do this task at level 85 instead of 90. Boosting for the level requirement will be pretty common throughout this video, and the Summer Pie guarantees the boost. You can then do an entire lap without losing the level, and even if you do, just bring 1 or 2 more in case you fail and have to repeat. Other than that, I will recommend you watch my 2023 agility guide, which hasn't really changed much in terms of the meta, and is still pretty relevant if you watch it today, unlike skill guides such as Hunter, which has actually evolved quite a bit. The best way to level up agility starts at 62 with completion of the Hallowed Sepulchre, which will be superior experience per hour than any of the courses you can find at any level. This of course requires completion of the master level quest, the Sins of the Father, and may not be as easy to complete if your account is at base level 60s or so. Regardless, this task will be one of the easiest to complete in the entire achievement diary system, and is only the worst of the agility category because of how long it will take to get to level 85. My favorite reward from this tier is the Arty Cloak 4 for unlimited teleports to the farm, making your farm runs a lot quicker. A task that may potentially be faster to complete, but even longer to achieve than 85 or 90 agility, of course depending on how you go about it, is performing a Cape of Accomplishment emote at the top of the White Knight Castle at Falador. And why do I say that about faster or longer? Well, here's the catch. It's faster because you just need to get to the White Knight Castle and perform the emote, which will quite literally take less time than an entire lap around the Arty rooftop course. But to do it, you obviously need one of the 23 skill capes or even the quest cape. As a funny side note, in the very rare case that you are a maxed player but you have not done this step, the max cape is not going to work for this task. It's longer because no matter what type of account you are, any 99 can take quite a long time even if you look at the fast ones. You have incredibly quick 99s like smithing or crafting, incredibly cheap ones like cooking or firemaking, or even profitable ones such as fletching or magic. But even then, saying the word fast will have you doing these for at least 200 hours, which will take quite a while. If you're onto the elite diary tasks for each region, I'm pretty confident you should already have at least 199 in your account. Just for the love of God, don't make it cooking. The Falador diary doesn't feature insane rewards like other areas, but the Falador Shield 4 is something that cannot be missing from my inventory when I'm doing the Inferno, for that chunky prayer restoration twice per day. If you enjoy PvM and the Casual Slayer, you may not find this one boring, but for those of you who think Slayer is one of the slowest skills in the game, and trust me, it can be, the quote-unquote worst task in the Kourend diary and the Kaoz Lowlands is at getting level 95 Slayer to kill a Hydra. Just like previous tasks, we have two ways to circumvent this. Note that the task says Hydra and not the alchemical Hydra, which makes it easy to achieve so you don't have to go to Konar and waste a bunch of points to get a Hydra task. Instead, you can kill one of the small ones in the dungeon, and guess what? We have a Wild Pie which increases our Slayer level by 5, so you can do this task just at level 90. This may sound easier than some of the ones we have seen, but trust me, level 90 Slayer is not an easy task. The cool part about it is that we can kill a small Hydra because it's not like the Western Diary where you can kill a single thermonuclear smoke devil without the need of a Slayer task. And that one is worse because you cannot boost to 93 to kill it. If you're in a rush to get a high Slayer level, you'd want to burst, barrage, or use Chinchompas on Slayer monsters which you can kill in a multi-combat area like the Catacombs of Kourend. You can do so with Dust Devils, Necreals, Jellies, and much more. And for this, I would honestly avoid bossing since that will be less experience per hour. This diary tier has so many good rewards that I cannot pick a favorite one, but my top 3 are more Slayer points from Konar, the Rada's Blessing 4, and not having to wear Boots of Stone or Brimstone in the Kourend Slayer dungeon. For the mere mortals, this might be the absolute worst diary task in the entire system, but for us runecrafting enjoying Giga Chads, it's not too bad. Jokes aside, crafting 56 nature runes at once for the Karamja Elite Diary is definitely the most difficult and the time-consuming of them all, since the base level requirement of 91 can definitely turn a lot of people off from doing the Elite tier. The only way to bypass a few levels is with stews containing orange spice for chances at the +5 boost. Other than this, there's no real way to make this faster other than hiring runners for the altar of your choice. Even by crafting lava runes with Dayalt Essence, XP per hour might be relatively low compared to the amount of actions you will have to perform during every single trip. So instead of how to make it faster, I can only tell you a few tricks to make it more tolerable. First, do Guardians of the Rift until you get the full runecrafting outfit for more runes, and the Abyssal Needle to use a single pouch for your trips. This will naturally give you a little more experience and GP per hour because it's a single inventory slot to carry all your essence. And other than this, watching your favorite shows on any streaming platform as you level up nice and steady. If you like runecrafting as much as I do, this shouldn't really be that bad. To be fair, this is one of the tasks or even entire tiers you can skip for a long time because the Elite Karamja Diary is not an absolute game changer. Let me know if you like any of the benefits from it, but the only one that comes to mind is cheaper Onyx for Toggle when wearing the gloves, and that's not even in the Elite tier. Maybe resurrecting at the fight caves once per day, but you let me know. Time to embark in the wilderness, and some of you may have thought that killing each of the big boy wildy bosses could have been it. But thanks to the addition of the baby bosses in the form of Artio, Calvarion, and Spindle a few years back, this step is not so bad anymore. Instead, we go to the wilderness resource area to create a rune scimitar from scratch, and this one can be quite a headache. First off, this has a chunky requirement of 85 mining and 90 smithing. The combination can be quite atrocious, and even with mining boosts you'll be here for quite a while. The reason for this is that in order to do this task, you will need to kill 2 rock golems found here, mine the rock they leave behind, and then get a total of 16 coal. You then have to smelt these and then create the rune scimitar, all while hoping no PKer comes and interrupts you in the middle of the process. I wouldn't really recommend relying on a mining boost if you don't have level 85, since attempting to get a runite rock is just so slow that the chance of the boost wearing off in the process will be pretty likely. If you can, save the boost for smithing, since making the rune scimitar is actually pretty quick once you have the 2 rune bars. I hate mining so much that I don't really have any recommendations to make this faster, other than going to the granite mine for the best experience per hour. And for smithing, smelting gold at the blast furnace will be the way to go. This is another diary that doesn't have any game-breaking rewards from the elite tier, but my favorite ones on the hard tier are being able to pick your destination when using the wilderness obelisks, and having up to 5 ecumenical keys in your bank for those gut-worst dungeon trips. I personally hate gathering skills so much that this one makes it higher in the list, but for some of you it may be lower if you like AFK activities. For Morytania, catching a shark with your bare hands is the absolute worst diary task of this region, and unlike previous requirements where we need levels 85 or 86 with a boost, this one makes things even more difficult. You see, catching fish barehanded has you doing the barbarian training methods at Otto's Grotto in Kandarin, but most notably, catching a shark has an absurd level requirement of 96 fishing. Not counting the 99 skill cape requirement for the Falador diary, 96 fishing is the absolute highest level requirement out of any task, tied with magic for the elite wildy diary that has you teleporting to Varrock. The problem with this is that fishing is infinitely slower than magic, and even an Admiral Pie which boosts your fishing level by 5 means that you will still need to get level 91 in order to complete this task. Getting the level is just the first part, because if you boost with the Admiral Pie, you need to get lucky at your boost and not to wear off while you're catching the shark, which is what happened to me when I was doing it, and I needed a total of 3, yes, 3 Admiral Pies to finish the task. So as you can tell, I absolutely hate fishing. Thankfully, the Morytania Elite Diary actually has a lot of chunky rewards to take advantage of, like the Bone Crusher giving full experience per bone, 10% more Slayer experience in the Slayer Tower, 50% more fire making experience at the Shades of Morton, Robin giving you bone meal for the Ectopunctus, and my personal favorite, access to the Harmony Island herb patch. So, as you can see, there's a massive incentive to get this one done. I honestly believe the people in charge of designing the Elite Western Diary deserve a special spot right next to Satan down in Hell, because needing 1,000 chumpy kills for this was honestly a crime against humanity. Hell, even doing it in leagues with 8 times the amount of chumpies per KC was one of the worst things you can do, but that's besides the point. After completion of the big chumpy bird hunting quest, you have access to the chumpy hunting activity, which has the insane reward of getting you cute little hats for your character. Getting 1,000 of these is also a requirement for the elite tier, and the only way to speed this up is by, get this, simply doing the lower tiers of the Western Diary. The reason for this is that the more diaries you complete, the higher the chance for 2 chumpies to appear at once, 25% for the easy tier and 50% for the medium one. Sadly, the 100% chance for double spawn is locked behind the elite tier. Make sure to wear the best ranged armor you can, and keep in mind that Void does not work here, so it might be better to take Black Dragonhide if you don't have items like Masori or Crystal Armor. This elite tier also has some chunky rewards, granting more Slayer points per task from Never Steve, 1 free resurrection at Zulra per day, and the ability to get the Chumpy Chick pet if you decide to continue with the activity. Thankfully, it will be one of the fastest pets to obtain, and it took me around 30 minutes after I decided to start going for it. Getting into the top 3, one of the most hated diary tasks since its inception is getting the Calphite Queen head to mount in your POH and talk to it for completion of the Elite Desert Diary. It's so terrible in fact that this is pretty much the only task that comes to mind, which was given a pity drop if you go super dry on it. Back in my day, people had to try their luck at the 1 in 128 drop for the actual head. But starting October 2018, Jagex made it so you can guarantee a tattered head at KC 256. This can only be used for the diary task, and you're not able to use it for a Slayer helmet. I know so many people on Discord who had to go the entire 256 KC for it, and without super powerful weapons, this can be one of the worst experiences the game has to offer. It doesn't get any better because in order for you to unlock the shortcut to the Kalphite Queen, you need completion of the Elite Diary itself. The hard diary will make it so you don't need the ropes for every single trip, but the run here can get pretty ridiculous, and one of the most rage-inducing tasks in the entire game. For this, I would also recommend leaving it for one of your last, do a little bit of Tombs of a Mascot, and if you're lucky enough, get the blue gem. This will speed up your kills quite nicely, and some could say that the blue gem can take even longer to get, but TOA is honestly more enjoyable than the Kalphite Queen. This tier grants access to the Kalphite Queen shortcut mentioned before, the Desert Amulet 4 for unlimited teleports to Narda so you can pray at the Elitin statue, and your Pharaoh Scepter can now hold up to 100 charges to go to the Tombs of a Mascot or the Pyramid Plunder more conveniently. The runner-up spot belongs to the Elite Lumbridge Diary. I was going to have the Bones to Peaches task from the harder tier since you have to do the Mage Training Arena, but one task stood out even more, and that is performing the Quest Cape emote in the front of the Wise Old Man at the Draenor Village. You see, for a long time I thought of this task as not too awful. Even with quests such as Dragon Slayer 2, Monkey Madness 2, and Song of the Elves, I enjoyed those quite a lot, so the Questscape didn't really seem like a hassle, unlike the Mage Training Arena. But with new quests coming into the game like While Gothic Sleeps and Desert Treasure 2, as well as so many more quests added to the game, the Questscape can actually take quite a while to complete. As for two ways you can speed this up, you can follow the optimal quest guide on the wiki to do the quests relatively quickly and without having to take many detours for level requirements. The other one is what I did, and when I started playing the game back in 2018, I followed the list of quests by difficulty. I did all the novice ones, all the intermediate ones, all the experienced ones, the recipe for disaster, and then all the master and grandmaster quests. You will still have to take quite a few breaks to level up some skills for requirements, but won't be as annoying as you think if you don't have this task. In my personal opinion, the Elite Lumbridge Diary is the absolute best one in the entire system, simply because you won't need the Drayman or Lunar Staff when using Fairy Rings. Anything else is an afterthought, but I guess the Explorer's Ring 4 for unlimited teleports to the Lumbridge farm is pretty neat. And boys and girls, as most of you probably guessed, in my personal opinion, the number one worst diary task not only in Kandarin, not only in the Elite tier, but in the entire game, is getting all level 5 rolls at the Barbarian Assault. I am mostly saying this because the minigame absolutely scarred me when I was going for level 5s, but I have a huge tip for you. Before getting into it, and if you try to do it in World 306 with randoms, I don't even think the Blood Torva or Radiant Oathblade grind made me rage as much as 1. Trying to find a consistent team to run with, 2. Getting people to actually know what the fuck they're doing, and 3. Praying to the lords that they don't leave before wave 10, which happened to me more times than I'd like to admit. The way to do this faster, join our Discord and ask the BA helper roles if they are available to run a torso or level 5s, because we have an absolutely banging Barbarian Assault community in our server, happy to help anyone who's willing to put in the effort. This tier is so excruciating that no rewards really make up for the amount of brain cells lost during the grind. The only ones that come to mind that aren't even Elite tier are more herbs out of your Catherby patch, and slightly higher chance to get bolt procs when using crossbows. So boys and girls, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something useful. If you did, tell me which of the achievement diary tasks is your most hated one, and if you include the term RSN and your username in your comment, you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway, for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. I want to give a massive shout out to all the people you see on screen for supporting this channel with a monthly subscription, all of which goes towards feeding my family, my army of donkeys, and a local animal shelter with food and medicine. If you like what I do here, click the join button below to see all the cool perks you can grab at each tier and will be useful in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord for a monthly fee. In the next one, I will give you an updated 1 to 99 thieving guide, as we have gotten a few methods added since my last one, as well as quality of life for some of the existing ones. For now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.